Hello YouTube and welcome to tutorial number 5 in the PHP tutorial series, and in this video we're just going to cover variables. We're going to cover what they are, what they're used for, and how to create one. Okay, so if you're new to programming, then a variable is pretty much a way of storing a value, and with a variable you can use that value over and over again in a script, so it saves you a lot of time typing it out, and you can also use the value, it's hard to explain actually before you actually do it. So if you've never programmed before, when you learn about variables you'll think this is the biggest waste of time ever. It's pretty much like algebra in school. But then if you actually look into it, when you start writing scripts, you will realize that every single script you write you'll use variables all over the place. So today we're going to learn how to create a string and an integer. But if you have previous experience with programming and you know about variables, then you'll know in many languages you have to actually set the data type of the variable. But in PHP we don't even have to set that. In PHP you just set the value and it will automatically assign the data type. So you don't have to set like as a string or as an integer. PHP will do that for us. So as always we'll start out with our PHP opening and closing parameters. PHP right there, and then another one there. So we've now got our file. Let's just save that as variables.php. Okay, and we're just going to get right into it, and I'll just explain how to make a variable. Now the first thing you need to do is put the $sign. The $sign will start, it will be the name of the variable. So whatever you type after this $sign, that will be the name of the variable. So I'm just going to call my variable name because I'm going to use my first name, then put a space, and after the space you need to put an equal sign, and that's going to say to PHP that we're going to assign this variable to this value after the equal sign. And as with the echo function, you will wrap your value in quotations, so we'll put double quotations and we're going to type Chris, it's my first name, and after that we have our semicolon to end the code. So if we press save right now and then just load tutorials/variables.php, we can see there's no errors, and that means it's all worked correctly. So let's go back and let's use this in actual outputting it to the browser. So what we're going to do is use that echo function once again, if you remember from the previous tutorial, and we're just going to say my name is, and the way to use a variable inside when you're outputting data, all you can do is use the name of the variable. So $name, then close quotations, semicolon, hit save, and if we load this, it says my name is Chris. So what we're actually doing here is we're pulling this string data from here, from this variable, and using it here. So we can also create an integer, because this right now is a string. To create an integer, I'm going to make a new variable. So again, $sign, name of the variable is going to be age, and then equals, and the age is 18, and then have another space and a semicolon. So we can put my name is name, and I am, and then $sign age years old. And if we hit save, and it says right there, my name is Chris and I'm 18 years old. So we can see that our variables are working inside of the echo. So what I'm going to do now is just go over some rules of variables. There are rules when it comes to variables. One is that a variable name can only start with a underscore or a letter, so you cannot start variables with a number. So let's try and do it down here. I'm going to call this one variable equals, we'll just set that to test, and if we save that we should have an error for line 6. There you go, unexpected TL number, and that's because you cannot start variables with a number, and also you can't have spaces in the name of variables. So if we try call this first space name equals Chris, and then we'll save that, whoops, we'll save that, reload, and we have another error on line 6. So what we can do for this is use an underscore. So if we just delete this and then we type first underscore name equals Chris, and then we'll make another one, last underscore name equals Johnson, and then have a semicolon, and then we can put my name is, actually we'll delete this and just write it all again. We'll put echo, sorry, quotations, my name is, and then first underscore name, and after that we're going to use last underscore name, and then we'll have a semicolon. Hit save and that should work. My name is Chris Johnson. So in this tutorial we've covered how to create a integer and a string variable and use them to output them to the browser. But what we can also do is use single quotations as just these two right here, but that will create problems as we have to concatenate the variables. Now don't worry about that right now, because I don't feel that in this stage of the tutorials we need to cover that. I will make a video on that soon about concatenation and using single quotation variables, because they're actually very useful when doing HTML. Because if you have like a href equals and then double quotations to set the link, then you know that is going to trick the PHP into thinking that you've ended the actual string. But don't worry about that now. Probably shouldn't have even mentioned that, but yeah, that is the end of this tutorial. Thank you for watching. So to pretty much sum up what we've learned in this, to create a variable you're going to just have to type the $sign and then the name of the variable, and then an equal sign, and then in quotations, or if it's an integer you need to type the value, and after that obviously the semicolon. And to reference a variable when you're echoing it out, all you need to do is use the variable name. So if you have any questions, just leave a comment or send me a PM, and please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Peace.